Hello and welcome. This is Fide Master and Fide Trainer Vedant Goswami. Now, after the second game of the World Championship between Nepomniachtchi and Ding, in which Ding lost a pretty short game, I was looking for the game which was the shortest game ever played in a World Championship, and it was played by Grandmaster Viswanathan Anand, who defeated Boris Gelfand in only 17 moves, making that the shortest ever game played in a World Championship. So we'll see that game today. The game was played in the year 2012 in Moscow in the World Chess Championship between Viswanathan Anand and Boris Gelfand. So here, Anand is white and Gelfand is black. So Anand starts with d4 and f6, c4, g6, f3. Now, Gelfand is playing the King's Indian defense, and Anand chooses to go for this quite key variation, which was basically transposed into the Samish variation of the King's Indian, or can transpose into that, a very solid line for the white pieces. So c5, d5, and d6. Now it has become kind of a Benoni opening. So let us see, e4. So it is characterized by white's space advantage in the center. Black does have to play a bit actively, otherwise it can become very difficult to break out from the lack of space that black has chosen to because of the particular pawn structure. So bishop g7, knight e2. Again, a special preparation, I believe, which Anand had done for the World Championship. Other normal moves are also available, like knight to c3, or maybe just bishop e3. Multiple options are here at this moment. Castles and knight c3. So a kind of very uncharacteristic knight maneuver right in the opening. This knight from here steps into the square which belongs to this knight. So I'm not very sure what exactly is the idea, but at least this makes Gelfand uncomfortable, and he has to find the right move, knowing that Anand has prepared something very specific. He goes for nh5, which is a very typical move, and one of the ideas, once the pawn moves here, is queen h4, and the idea being when the pawn comes here, knight can capture it, pawn captures, and the queen can capture the h1 rook. So this is the idea which we need to be aware of. So white plays bishop g5, discouraging the move e6, which is a very typical move in this position, breaking open the center, getting some space for the pieces. Maybe the rook goes to e8, some activity black is trying to create. Bishop g5 was played, and of course black can shoo away the bishop with h6, forcing black to make a decision whether to retreat the bishop on h4 or e3. Bishop e3 is more usual because later white wants to develop the queen to d2 while also getting a tempo on the h6 pawn. So in this game, Gelfand chose to play bishop f6, which is slightly debatable decision, because if you know this structure, or if you just see the position, the bishop on g7 is usually the most important black piece on the board, because if you see, white has all the pawns on the white squares that make the black bishop for black a particularly powerful piece, both in attack and defense. So exchanging it so early might be little debatable, but again, it is possible, and Anand played bishop into f6 and e into f6. So, as far as I understand, Gelfand is trying to take the game away from whatever Anand could have prepared. So, in that, he is kind of on his own in this. I don't think he is in his preparation, but he's just trying to create a position where both players can think and play instead of Anand just reeling out his preparation and getting an advantage without actually thinking. So Anand plays queen d2, and I still don't know where this knight will go. Maybe the knight will go here, here, and here. I really don't know. f5 was played. Actually, again, the position becomes very sharp because after pawn takes and bishop takes, G4 had to be calculated. Anand actually went ahead with G4. It looks like white is winning a piece right away, but that's not the case because bishop can take on B1 and then knight has the time to go back, or even queen H4 is an option. Gelfand played rook E8, king D1, bishop into B1, which is the forced move, rook into B1, and now black has multiple options. Knight can simply retreat to either f6 or g7. In both cases, black might get a reasonable game. White does have a very simple plan, maybe going the bishop with the king to c2, bishop to d3, and maybe h4, h5. So white is a very straightforward plan, but it is not that black doesn't have play. He has some play on the dark squares. So we can look forward to a complex middle game. In this position, Gelfand kind of miscalculated and missed a very powerful move on the 17th move by Vishy Anand. He played queen f6, leaving the knight on h5 emprise and creating a threat on his own, saying that if you capture the knight, I can capture the pawn and then the rook on h1. Anand went ahead with the capture, seeing a move ahead and seeing that queen on h1 is on a very constricted square and can be trapped. So queen into f3, king c2, queen into h1. And now this is the time for you to find the move which was played by Viswanathan Anand and forced Gelfand to resign on the spot. So we know any piece is at its minimum power when it is on the corner of the board because it has access to minimum number of squares. And as such, the queen on h1 has captured the rook, but itself is in danger of getting trapped because it has access to very limited exit squares. And in this position, if you had to think about it, Vishy Anand played queen f2, and with the very simple idea of just developing the bishop to d3 and trapping the black queen. This was the time where Gelfand resigned the game. Of course, there are some ways to continue, maybe simple knight c6, pawn takes, and queen takes, and bishop d3. But this is a technical position where white has total control of the dark squares. Gelfand didn't want to struggle against an extremely strong player like Anand in this hopeless position. So he resigned the game after queen f2 and thereby losing the shortest game ever in the history of World Chess Championships. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the game and you found it instructive. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and do consider subscribing to the channel so that you keep updated of the upcoming lessons and do support us. Thank you so much.